Hi everyone, this is Ellie Marie Francisco. Thanks for coming into my channel. Today we're going to do our March 2025 tarot to see what's going on with the energies out there and how are they affecting the energies in here. Get right down to business. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. I'm a clairvoyant psychic medium, and I like to do these monthly channeled readings to get the read on the kind of energetic themes that we're working with so that we're a little more prepared for the twists and turns right around the corner so we don't get all freaky in our heads thinking we're making a mess out of our lives when really we're just dealing with some of the planetary and energetic influences hitting our field. I'm doing the Celtic Cross for March 2025. March is starting off strong with the Tower card. The Tower loves to change. Many times we move or someone comes into or leaves our home under a Tower cycle. Sometimes we do massive renovations we didn't expect to do at a cost we didn't expect to pay. And our consciousness is definitely going to change. Hopefully there isn't a price to pay for that. We're being crossed with the Queen King of Cups. I feel like this speaks to the full moon lunar eclipse, which is in Virgo on March 14th, coming pretty quickly. Being undertoned with the High Priestess, which represents the moon, and she demands we go with the flow. Eclipses are like 5 full moons at once, and there are always doors that close in the months around them and new windows of opportunity that open and present themselves as well. The other eclipse is our solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th. So this is definitely going to be a power-packed month. Herman is coming up on the side and represents Virgo. It's amazing how the cards relating to the signs and planets are coming in full tilt the month that the energies are hitting. I mean, this is definitely going to be a spiritual month. It's going to be a very big spiritual influence over all of the next number of months for sure. Like 6, could be a whole year actually. Could be activating different times of the year. We've already got 3 major arcana cards: the Tower, the Hermit, and the High Priestess. Can you feel the water in there? Can you feel the explosions? It's like a fiery mess. We've got the 2 of Cups is crowning us on top of us, and the 6 of Wands is in our doorway to the future. With 10 of Wands, we're unburdening ourselves and becoming more sensitive to the things around us as well. That could be why we're unburdening, because we're suddenly so sensitive, it just doesn't feel good to hold on to anything anymore, especially the things that don't resonate with us. The High Priestess loves surrender, and she's all over us anyway. So this is the kind of month we're going to have. The 3 of Pentacles is also part of our Celtic Cross. And it was also in our February reading, if you remember, almost in exactly the same position. So there's a lot going on with community. I'm going to get into that in a moment. And then our other card is our 9 of Pentacles, which talks a lot about the home. 7 of Cups is following our 9 of Pentacles. With the intensity that the Tower card is bringing in, I feel like there could be more earthquakes coming in the months ahead, as well as massive uprooting. We know this has already happened in some places in North America. We've seen it in all kinds of regions, so I don't think that it's going to be getting easier. I feel like it's becoming more amplified and more obvious. With the Queen and King of Cups crossing us, we're extremely emotional. However, these are in exalted versions. Some of us may be dealing with our emotional bodies in better ways, which means we may be mastering some of our emotional worlds. As difficult as dealing with the Tower energies can be, this is a very bold approach coming in here. There could be some nice breakthroughs in how to handle some of the most troubling aspects or challenges hitting the collective. Now, we would have already processed so much emotion with this card too. Usually when this card shows up, it's a sign that it's a good sign that she's crossing us. It's actually a sign that we've been handling things pretty well. And even though it's intense, we are handling it. We are growing and we are mastering it. The High Priestess, as she's running underneath us, she is in a supporting position, and in a way that is unavoidable. So it's almost like if you're resisting the change this moon cycle demands with these eclipses, then it's probably going to feel like the helpful friend you don't want help from. You know, the person who just shows up and wants to do everything for you, and you're like, no, really, I don't need your help. But the High Priestess asks us to surrender and to remember that as much as we may will our way through the world and have authority over our own lives to manage whatever may bring us love and understanding, the High Priestess understands that we serve the higher forces, even in our silly little lives, even in the most mundane ways. We have wider perspectives available to us now and opportunities to be in a greater flow, to be part of a larger body of water, so to speak. So it's interesting that the King and Queen of Cups is here. It's very watery. It represents to a degree all the Piscean influences coming in with the eclipse, and it's a very watery mess. The High Priestess as well speaks about going with the flow. So I would say the most tumultuous moments in March for people will be those moments that you just don't understand that the universal flow is the flow. And that's all there is to it. As much as you may have your desires and your hopes and dreams marrying with the divine flow, this is going to bring you into higher forms of your own mastery and into higher forms of strength and the exalted version of yourself, whether you like it or not. By the looks of it, every man is an island with the Hermit card. And the idea that you can pull back and have time alone and go inward and introspectively approach parts of yourself that need more light or more tender loving care or more of a poignant approach. Often we pull back from humanity thinking we won't feel the connection, but we feel the connection even more so because our sensitivities are growing. Your sensitivities for sure in March are growing and in the months beyond. I really believe that this is bringing us into new forms of our own sonar abilities, our own psychic abilities, our own telepathic abilities. What else is going on? Yeah, so it's going to be hard if you're not expecting any of this. You would almost be like a conduit in a lot of ways. Like I really feel like it's very much another emotional month, no question about it. The emotional bodies are getting stirred up in a lot of ways already. And anyway, in February, we were doing a lot of this already. A lot of us are doing a bit of a deep dive and a deep plunge into our first chakra, and that does stir up a lot of emotion. What else is coming next? Okay, so our Six of Wands. I wouldn't be surprised if you need the time alone or if you feel like you just need to divorce yourself from humanity and take me with, basically. So I feel like the stuff that got stirred up in February is now being dealt with, whether we like it or not, in a better, more involved way. Neptune threatens to turn everyone delusional. So keep both feet firmly planted in reality. You may be the only one able to do this. We may be dealing with the dreamy dream stuff that isn't very grounded, and we may be dealing with everybody else's delusions. Some of us with strong spiritual foundations understand how things are rooted and that we're constantly being asked to recreate our foundations with better focus and better footing, with better grounding even. A lot of us are constantly building better connections to ourselves and rooting them into the world willingly. It's just a natural progression of our own evolution and our own communion with ourselves. What else is going on? I do feel like a lot of warped thinking going on as part of the Neptune stuff. Not a bad time for 12-step programs. If you're one of those that are centered in reality and are pragmatic, and you do understand how the universal flow works, I think it's just going to be a little trying for March for a lot of people. I think it's going to be hard to stomach some of the things that are going on in the outside world. So maybe that's why you're feeling like you want to take some time away from the masses. The Two of Cups. The Two of Cups can be literal sisterhood and your siblings, and digging into deeper parts of the duality and the polarizing effects of who we are internally, and understanding that all of these parts of ourselves come together with more neutrality in ways that serve us in better equanimity. Our root chakra is definitely getting worked on in February and in March. I saw this earlier when I was doing my February reading, and I'm feeling it again. It's the point where we need to dig in a little deeper, a little deeper, a little deeper. I don't envy those that will resist this necessary step into their own divine connection. They're going to be cut off and they're going to be miserable. The earth is here for a reason. We need to connect. We need to connect to her just as much as we'd like to connect to the heavens. It is the high and lows and a more well-rounded approach to things that brings us into better alignment. The next card in our Celtic Cross is in our gateway to the future. And the question these March energies are asking us is, what world are we building? Are we here? Are we there? Are we here and there? Do we want to be there and we're here? Or do we want to be here and we're there? This can also denote lots of astral traveling. So if you're having a lot of deja vu and they're coming more regularly, I'd say you're out and about trying to plan your future. Ironically, it's you yourself who could be giving you yourself the best hints, the best advice yet this month, as a matter of fact, especially if you're willing to go with the flow like the High Priestess demands. If you don't have any preconceived notions about what the outcomes need to be for you, it's easier for Spirit to bring you better things that you like even quicker. So there is more delight in store when you don't fight your own flow, or when you don't choke off the universal possibilities. For those of you who do feel like you're working with the dimensions and moving beyond this time and space, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, because I still do feel like that whatever's going on with Neptune would allow for that. You're either swinging into high forms of warped delusion thinking, or you're just transcending your own limits into a more unlimited form, and your abundance could be checking in quite nicely as well. So what are we giving up after all of this happens? We're giving up whatever we've been unburdening ourselves with in whatever ways make the most sense. So we all know that there's always things to let go. We don't always want to let go, but there are certain times in our lives where it's inevitable that the letting go happens. We are not meant to be burdened as much, and we are meant to be resourced. So if your resources have turned into burdens, then that needs to be readdressed for sure. And you don't want to be lingering with all this extra weight on you either. So for some people, you may be dealing with extreme emotional stuff. If you're in your heart, if you just love, you love, you care, this could be a very difficult month, because there could be a lot of bleeding hearts and a lot of bleeding heart scenarios around you. And there's not a whole lot you can do, because these are not your challenges. These are not your responsibilities. And yet you're watching people suffer through things. So you may be trying to process off the grief of humanity or dispel the negativity of others from your space around you because you don't really want to be polluted either. And so that could take a lot out of you. You may need more rest. If you're in the healing arts, you're probably somehow better at transmuting other people's pain or empowering them in ways that you didn't think you could before. So there could be some really beautiful breakthroughs in the people who are doing service to humanity and healing work and things like that. We've got, let's see, what else? We've got the Ten of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. They're neighbors this month. This is a lot of community. This really does hint at what's going on in the community, and are there resources that are needing to go to the disenfranchised? Are there ways to get help to those in need? I think so. Resources for the burdened, essentially. There just may be a lot of government support coming through somehow for the burdens of society. Somebody may be spearheading the homeless crisis in a more profound way or more productive way to actually help something. I'm feeling this on a collective. This card is coming up right behind it, the Nine of Pentacles. This is like the happy ever after card as far as real estate and home life and long-term investments go, especially for your comfort and stability. And basically it's hitting the material world. So it could be that, you know, the burdens of the community are being handled somehow in a financial way where suddenly there's a budget for it or funding for it. Could be funding for it. There could also be some kind of homeland security, you know, like that kind of a thing where down on the southern parts of the border, I would say that's definitely going to be in the news quite a bit too, and the resources being used to stabilize the homeland one way or another, or it could be the same for Canada as well. We did have the Tower here at the beginning, community burdens, investments, real estate. Home life with real estate. So it could be the same for Canada as well, you know, stabilizing our infrastructure properly so that it benefits the people and it doesn't overburden society. Our last card for the Celtic Cross is the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups, it's a really healthy card to have as a final card because it's a little bit like the heavens understanding that they've got everything to give and all we have to do is reach for it. So this sense of us feeling like we're more willing and able-bodied to integrate more of our cosmic, galactic kind of possibilities and the dreams and the miracles that could be ours in the earth plane. So I think it's like an invitation to open up your crown chakra and dream a little dream and reach for bigger parts of yourself, you know, that live with new promises and new capabilities. It's always the spirit world also beckoning us in one way or another. So this just kind of goes to show that we're not being left out here alone. And there's still lots of beauty and lots to behold and well worth exploring. So I guess that's good news in a way. I mean, once we get beyond all the tears that seem to be wanting to fall this coming month or the frustrations that may be airing or, you know, things like that. We could be so frustrated we're just letting things go. So I'll see you again for my April sneak peek and some other things I've got cooking in the background. Take good care of yourself. So whatever you're going through, just keep in mind that you're going to want to pace yourself. You're going to want to go with the flow. You're going to want to reach for the heavens and unburden the things that aren't working for you. Embrace the fact that you've learned a lot and you're living with the benefit of those new pieces of growth that are helping you expand. Yeah, I think that's about where we are there. So thanks again for coming into my channel. I hope you have a great day and keep the faith. No point in giving up now. If you've made it this far, you're going to be sticking around for some of the good stuff coming up in the next few years as humankind reaches and grows into greater forms of itself without as much interference. Namaste until another day. Much love, and we'll see you soon.